There you go.
Hey, what's up, Leif? How you doing?
What's up, bro?
Chilling. Two shy guys on the mic here. J. Kev, Leif Taylor. Just having a little fun tonight. Going to be talking about Juneteenth, freedom, and finding liberty and what you love.
Oh, he
Or
got it right.
Juneteenth.
Look at him.
Yeah, look at me. I was going to change it up. Juneteenth, liberty, and finding freedom and what you love. So how you been doing, Leif?
You're doing well, man.
Pretty good, good. Uh, of course, today is Juneteenth, which is, gotten me thinking about liberty and freedom, the difference between liberty and freedom, and thinking about Juneteenth and how important it is to memorialize and celebrate uh, not only Juneteenth, but also other markers that help keep us in remembrance of those important time, important things in time that has happened in times past that help us appreciate some of the things that we have today. Thinking about Juneteenth, um, this has gotten me thinking about a couple of things. Number one, just how important it is to appreciate those who have come before us that have made sacrifices and have suffered and lived through some tough times that has given rise to who we are and what we are today. I often wear a shirt that you designed, saying that we are, you got a picture of a graphic of a black man on it,
Yep.
and it says we are Black History. We are Black History Month. Just speaking to the fact that each and every one of us, whether you're black, white, yellow, red, whatever you want to say, our ancestors, those who have come before us, we are the embodiment. We are the expression of those who have of history. Our
Yep.
genes are our present day expressions of all those who have come before us, and this is in our DNA. And me and you are manifestations of those who have come before us, not only of them as people, but what they felt, what they thought, and just everything about every aspect of their being is expressed to each and every one of us today. We can all trace a lineage in our blood, and I'm thinking about the scriptures coming to mind of one blood comes all people.
Yep. Yep.
Just thinking about the blood that's in all of us, and the history and where we come from. But just thinking about Juneteenth. Then also, when I hit you up earlier, I said, you said you
Can
had
you
your
hear
hair
that
done.
by any chance in my background? Oh,
No, I
okay.
can.
Somebody's letting off a ton of fireworks. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and just thinking about, when I hit you up earlier, how you were saying that, you were steady grinding,
Yep.
doing the thing that you love, getting lost in it. And, it just spoke to me about, Juneteenth being a celebration of liberation, and how, often in what you do and then what I do and what others out there may be doing, what you all may be doing in some way, shape, or form, uh, expressing what is inclined in your heart. This is what helps you experience freedom and helps you experience liberation to a certain extent in your life. And in doing that, we can find contentment, or the people who put the Constitution together said we can find happiness. But in the original, in other writings, it's life, liberty, and pursuit of property, estate. Just given, thinking about the importance of property and how important it is that each and every person has the ability to possess and accumulate, which helps sustain liberty and freedom, given that we all are sentient human beings, and we all are individuals as well as an aggregate, as well as a community. So we're a community of individuals, and in that way, we all have to have sustenance, and we all are given the an ideal anyway. We are all have the capability to pursue sustenance and the accumulation of it. So not only can we secure our future of freedom and liberation in the pursuit of a state or pursuit of happiness or contentment, but we can pass that on to those who come after us. We can leave a legacy that will help shoulder or build a platform for our progeny to build off on and launch into the future, launch into space even. So just thinking about that, Leif, and in that, just contemplating, I guess, what it really means to be liberated and what it really means to be free.
Yep.
Whenever I think of Juneteenth, I always make this association to Jubilee.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got you. The year of Jubilee.
I
Yep.
don't know. It just always has an association to with me. And in the Bible, in the Bible, and it'll show up as the 50th year is an economic reset. And it's just funny that 2020 has been declared a reset on all fronts,
Yeah, it's
and
resetting itself regardless,
it's
right?
it's resetting itself, and it speaks to natural rhythms and cycles and seasons, even that is innate in human existence, that is going to happen regardless. But when you're not aware of them, you feel like you fall victim to them.
Yep.
But when you are aware of them, you can take advantage of it, and you can steer the outcome of these seasons and of the results of these seasons and stuff to your benefit. So when you're aware of it, you can make declarations, and you can take advantage of it. You can ride the waves. But when you're not aware of it, like I have been for most of my life, then you fall then you fall victim to it. You just like, what's going on here? Well, it's like, well, you ain't learned the basic principles of the cycles of freedom and economy, and how to live a life of liberation and freedom within a framework.
Yep.
There is order in chaos, and if you don't know that, it feels like chaos. But when you become aware and you start learning and you grow and you mature, then you realize that there is a method to the madness, and you can live life to where these seasons, these cycles, these things benefit you. But just going back to the original idea of Juneteenth, the celebration of liberation, which means to be freed from imprisonment or enslavement.
Yep.
And then just thinking about um, freedom and liberation, the difference, and then thinking about finding a way to find happiness and cultivate happiness in that. And I'm saying that because I'm thinking about how the times that we're living in, that we are living in a reset, and a lot of people in our world are falling victim to that, and that's leading to a lot of illness and disease. And I'm thinking about mental health and wellness right now,
Yep.
and just thinking about how it's important to cultivate some basic habits in your life when it comes to living a life of liberation and freedom, and finding something that's going to find a framework that works for you, help you maintain and sustain that happiness or contentment. And just real quickly, just thinking about that framework, I was thinking about a course that I started on Coursera
Mhm.
by a woman. She teaches at Yale, and she teaches um, what is it? Oh, The Science of Well-Being by Laurie Santos. And
Okay.
she's becoming more. She's out on the circuit right now, running around, talking about teaching this course at Yale that's become popular on Coursera. And then also she's got an app out there called Rewi, RIWI, I think it is, or REWI.
Okay.
And it's an app that is scientifically uh, founded in principles, and has some simple things that can help you measure
Okay.
uh, and some things you can do on a daily basis to help you measure your happiness level and help you exercise it and build it up to where you live a life of sustainable contentment, sustainable happiness. And we could talk about some of those simple things if you want later on. Just some things that may help each and every one of us help cultivate happiness and contentment in liberation.
Yeah. One of the things I do want to touch on in terms of just like liberation, just the reset that you were talking about, is make sure that you remain pliable. And what I mean by being pliable is with every situation, everything, circumstance, whether it be the pandemic, whether it be, the protest, whether it be the layoffs, whatever, there's always opportunity within those situations. And being pliable, being able, to keep a cool head. Kevin always says cool heads prevail. Just keeping a cool head, regardless of what's going on, you'll see opportunities in just about any and every situation.
Yeah.
And finding opportunities is more of a mindset than anything else, because they always exist if you think about them.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking about, what's been going on over the past several weeks in light of Juneteenth or whatever, and just the fact that, the people in Texas didn't realize that they had been freed for over 2 years. And I was thinking about, the news of that. On the one hand, is celebratory, but on the other hand, there comes a lot of anxiety with the new switch and phase of life, because now it's like, what do we do now? And so with the resets that happen, I know the World Economic Forum talks about these resets as well.
Yeah.
Not only just the Bible, but the World Economic Forum and all those things. Is if if you don't have a cool head, then the freedom will become anxiety, and a lot of people aren't ready for that freedom. So definitely start cultivating the mindset of, regardless of whatever the situation is, I will figure out a way. I will be able to thrive. I will be able to survive, and I will be able to take advantage. I've made it this far. It's just a mindset. It's really all it is. It's a mindset. You can stir. You can basically make a course go a certain way, but even if it doesn't go exactly the way you plan, you have to be flexible and pliable in order to withstand and endure. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about all this stuff. And again, I still hear the people popping fireworks in the background. uh, just know that there's opportunities, that there are plenty of opportunities still out there. There will be more to come. I know a lot of people are, preaching doom and gloom and all of this kind of stuff. Uh, the world is not limited to the U.S. You're not limited to your block. You're not limited to your job, or you're not even limited to your current career. So keep that in mind, and just realize that, regardless of how bad things may seem, is that, if the world was full of evil, then you wouldn't have good times to begin with. So just realize that those people out there that, that are spouting off all these different things, realize that their numbers are few, and that there are plenty of opportunities in the world. No matter what the state is, there's always tons of opportunities. So if you keep that in mind, then you'll definitely be able to celebrate your freedom, and you'll be able to live in it, more importantly.
Man, that's very important. You said something that speaks to, just summing up the mindset of adapt and thrive. Adapt
Yep.
and thrive. This seems to be another theme that's kind of showing up in my social media timelines a lot. Just that phrase, adapt and thrive. And this is one of those periods of time, given that we are living in an economic reset, not only economic, but also, all the other areas of life that is affected by economy. Is being resetted right now, and just like the most important thing, like you said, is developing and exercising the mindset,
Yep.
because it's the mindset that's going to help you, transform every other area of your human existence, whether it be your emotions, whether it even be your physical body. If you don't have an adapt and thrive, mindset that's going to affect you physically, then you become rigid, you become diseased, and it's hard for you to thrive in a world
Yep.
that's ever
And adjust.
changing. Yeah, if you can't adjust. So, man, that's very key, and that's very important. And going along with that, just looking at some of the habits that Laurie Santos talks about when it comes to developing and cultivating a mindset that is adaptable and able to thrive no matter what, keep you in a good place, a good positive place. That's very important. Is number one, meditating, gratitude, savoring the moment, exercising acts of kindness, and making sure that you develop good soul satiating connections with people, exercising, that which keeps showing up, and then sleep, and then having some, big and small goals, some things that you can shoot for and get up and look forward to. I just had a goal that I met just recently, a vacation goal. So just took a few days to um, rest and relax and renew. And it was a goal that I was eagerly looking forward to, even in light of what's going on. Of course, we are to exercise wisdom,
Yep.
and we
Yep.
are to exercise caution in things. So, I don't take things for granted or by happenstance. I try to measure and
Yep.
see what's going on out there and see if things are favorable. And I think the timing was okay, and luckily enough, or blessedly enough, that
Yeah.
everything was okay, and got to take a few days off, which goes hand in hand or part and parcel with adapting and thriving, and taking those moments to just kind of take a break. We all need breaks, and we have to take them frequently, which
Yep.
goes back to sleep, which is a break that everybody needs. And if
Yep.
you don't take it, then it affects everything else. But just having those small goals and things that definitely help. Laurie Santos, The Science of Well-Being, is where you can find those habits that will help you cultivate and maintain happiness. That's simple. Anybody can do.
Yeah. Here-
It's just knowing about them.
Yeah, here's what's funny about those kinds of things. When you look up like all those, like all the research and all the information that goes behind it, the things we pursue often aren't the things that give us pleasure and joy.
Right.
And that's the irony of the dreams we sell ourselves, right? The things we sell us, you said these are the little things, they're little things, but actually the little things are the big things, and
Yeah.
we often overlook them. And so just make sure that it's why taking a pause and having perspective changes everything. I had a talk with hey, man, I had a great week in terms of connecting with new people. Like I said, over the past few shows or whatever, just talking about taking advantage of now and the time frame in terms of connecting with people and reaching out. So I've talked to I had three separate, conversations with individuals that I've never met before, never talked to before. And, I saw something in, in a post that they made or a conversation that in something they said. I was like, well, I'm going to reach out to them and just pick their brains because, I could gauge based on the way they interacted with the particular audience that they had some information that was very vital. So I reached out to them, got phone numbers, and set up chats, and I was right. And from the standpoint of how it relates to this, I was talking to a gentleman. He used to be, well, actually he's still in sales, but not to the capacity that he was. And he was just talking about all these companies he worked for, and just being in a lot of industries from the very beginning. And and he was just giving me a rundown of all the different things. And then and then we were talking, and I was just telling him about how I just live a modest lifestyle. I just really do. And he was just like, man, he said you wouldn't be surprised, but that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get caught up in extravagant lifestyles and those kinds of things. But when you let that become your identity and that goes away, then you're lost. And
Yeah.
so you have to be very, very careful that you don't let your successes become your ultimate failures. And again, that for me, one of the things that I had to start realizing very early on is the value, going back to what we were talking about, the simple things, but simple doesn't mean value less, right?
Right.
The simple things for me was just spending time with my family, my wife, my children, and not stressing. Uh, that's invaluable.
Yeah.
And until everybody always wants, like, well, I want to experience certain things for myself, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's fine, but if you don't put it in its proper perspective, it can break you totally. So you want to make sure that you always keep a level head, always have the right perspective on life, because it's so easy to get caught up in lifestyles. It's extremely easy. And the one thing for me, like a lot of the stuff I did, I was older. Had I been younger, like in my early 20s, then a lot of this stuff would have probably ruined me. A lot of the things I've experienced, because I see the younger people that are doing the very things I was doing, and it's ruining their lives, like literally. And so I would just admonish people, and just, again, just be thankful for the little, for the things you currently have. I'll put it that way. Be thankful for the people in your life. Be thankful for perspective to even see their value. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about environments, we talk about all these things, it boils down to people. And if you have good people in your life, cherish it. And if you don't, find some. Make sure that you become that good person, so people will include you in their life.
Yeah.
Because that's really, like, when it's all said and done, everything's relationships. And when you neglect relationships, and when you neglect those things that make life enjoyable, then it can become very miserable, regardless of how many material things you possess.
Yeah, possessions only mean so much,
Yep.
and like you're saying, like you always say, the value is in the network and in your connections. That's where you will find real meaning
Yep.
in life. No man or woman is an island, and we were designed to interconnect and collaborate and be with, to have family and tribes and the like. So, yeah, those relationships is key. When I often research a lot about health and wellness, and that's one of the things that kind of jumped out at me. That's even more important than what you're eating and what you're
Yep.
doing is the relationships, the connections
True.
that you have, and that just really it just really changed my whole perspective about health and wellness and well-being and just life in general. So yeah, when it comes to living a life of liberty and freedom, you definitely want to have relationships and do it with other people.
Yep.
Um, no man or woman, you can only be a lone wolf for so long.
Lone
Um,
Wolf Star.
lone wolf
It's like,
star.
I don't know if I know we talked about it probably about a year or two ago, but in Malcolm Gladwell's, I think it's the 10,000 Hour book. Yeah, he talks about a specific neighborhood, a bunch of Italians that live there. Their health. They live to an old age, and it was like,
Yeah,
what's the secret? It's like, it's not their, it's not what they eat. It's
right.
not their exercise. Because they don't exercise. In from a surface level, they look just like any other regular neighborhood. But the thing is the fact that they were such a close knit community, the fact that they had familial ties and all of those kinds of things, is what kept them lively and what kept them happy. So again, just those relationships, those things that seem little, make sure that you cultivate them. It's just like the seed, right? If you cultivate the seed, it'll blossom and it'll bloom, and then there's all sorts of opportunities that come from that. Because especially when we talk about networking, and you talk about net worth and all of those things, it's all relationship.
Yeah.
It's all relationship driven. And so even in this automated world, relationships are still the most powerful thing.
Oh man, that's a very powerful statement. In the AI world that we live in now, and soon to be even expanded and ratchet down on,
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah, it's already there in a lot of ways. It's already there, and it's going to just become more implemented. But yeah, it's all relationships, because again, even if you don't have connections to the CEO or all of these big money people, the most valuable connections you can have is to those around you. Knock on your neighbor's door, get some extra weed or whatever people get
yeah.
nowadays, and that's the thing. It's those relationships, those things that'll actually affect your life more so than any other thing that's going on. So make sure that you cultivate your neighborhood, your community, what, however you gather socially, whether it be through church, whether it be through an organization, whatever. Make sure that those relationships are solid, and if they're not solid, if they're not life giving for you, make sure that you find something that gives you life and that you can give life back to.
Yeah. So yeah, just going back to circle back around, one of the things is that is really sticking out to me is the mindset and developing and cultivating peace and prosperity in your in that mindset, and
Oh,
purpose, not even pursuing it, but just realizing it and living it, realizing it, and then
yep,
cultivating whatever you realized about whatever it is that makes you feel free, and then that whatever helps you live an even more liberated, life.
yep,
To some extent, we're all born into imprisonment or enslavement, and each of one of us has the right, or we have the obligation or responsibility to um, become more free over our lifetime.
yep.
And one who becomes more free wins. Nah, the one who becomes more free, you just, I
More
guess,
free.
more free, experience a deeper and more richer experience. And I
Yeah,
don't know why when I'm talking, I'm thinking about Fortnite.
I don't know why either.
Because I don't know, my kids always play it, and they always, you start out with this, and then by the end of it, you survive, and you end up with so many
No,
treasures and V bucks and stuff. So
yeah, I play Fortnite and I last no longer than 5 minutes whenever I played.
yeah,
I played with less than 5 times, so maybe that's why. One thing that I was thinking that I definitely want to include as well in the conversation is information can get you the freedom you need,
yeah,
and sometimes when you lack certain information, you want to cram it all in at the same time. Be patient, be consistent, and you'll get it. Information is very freeing, and it comes with time. It comes with accumulation, and it comes with time. Unless you're a person that has a photographic memory to where you can just see something and remember it forever, it is going to take you some time. So don't get frustrated and the time it takes you to get the information that's necessary. But freedom is definitely in information, especially depending upon just get the information and where you want the freedom. I'll put it that way,
hmm,
and think associatively, meaning that sometimes you have a skill set or a mastery in one area, but you don't see the association and how it relates to another area. So when I say think associatively, the years of experience that you've lived, regardless of how you lived, you've made it however far you are now. Utilize that information, utilize that knowledge to get you the freedom that you need, because if you've survived, then there's opportunities for you to thrive. So take advantage of that, take advantage of information, and make sure that you make that a consistency in your life, is getting more information. You don't start off at the, some people do. Some people are born, with everything that they need. But you don't necessarily start off that way, but you can accumulate it. And if you use wisdom, you can navigate even the most treacherous of places.
yeah. When you're talking about association, I was thinking about those mind maps that you can see on online or whatever, where you
Yeah, yeah,
start with a node, and then you can see how it connects to other nodes
yep.
amongst a network. So yeah,
Yeah, because the thing about learning, I know we talked about this as well. We talk about a lot of stuff, but the thing about learning is that even when you don't get it, just keep just keep
keep
doing it
at it,
over and over. The more you repeat it, then all of a sudden it'll just click. And
understanding
when
comes.
it clicks, then that's when the world opens up to you. So regardless of what that click moment is, what that denouement, the epiphany,
Yeah,
when you reach that epiphany, it all just makes sense. And the learning process can be very frustrating. It can be very difficult. But if you continue to pursue, if you continue to persist, then you will get that eye-opening moment, and things will start coming together, and that those years sometimes of effort will pay off.
yeah,
So yeah, don't get don't get sidetracked and just give up. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't give up. Like the one of the sayings go. You don't fail until you quit. And so just make sure that you keep on, because those small things, those small experiences, whether positive or negative, will actually give you the information and feedback that you need.
Hmm. So nothing goes to waste.
It doesn't. It truly doesn't. It's energy. Information is energy. And the right information will energize you, and the wrong information will deter you. It'll
Yeah.
drain the life out of you.
Cool. Well, that's all I get. Was there any comments or anything? Or
No, not tonight.
all right. Well, that's all I had, man.
Wrap it up.
All right. Two shy guys on the mic here talking about Juneteenth, liberation, and learning how to pursue and live a life of freedom. So, just thinking about those things, hopefully, something was said to help inspire, motivate, or just give you a pebble to ponder while you scroll through the social medias. So,
As you
that's all we
pontificate.
got. Yeah. While we pontificate here into the ether. But hey, hit like, share, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Definitely appreciate you. We don't take your time or attention for granted. And
Not at all.
hopefully the return that you get is 30, 60, 100 fold. Peace out.
Peace, everybody. We appreciate you. Happy Juneteenth.